Hey everybody, and welcome to On the Sidelines. I'm Seth Hagan, and with me this week is a good friend of mine from back in the day, Daniel Vest, also working out of the WAXC studios. But we welcome you here into the Alabama Cable Network studios, and brand new set, brand new show. It feels good, and I brought along Dan here to help me along, guys. It's been a crazy week once again in sports. We are within 40 days of college football, and you can just feel the buzz.
Thank you.
In the state.
Thank you.
Yes, because we're always in that awkward time right now where there's really nothing to talk about but baseball, and the Olympics will spark it up a little bit. It'll be nice, but man, when football hits, that's when you know. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's gonna be fun.
Believe it or not, the Olympics are in the news right now as the entire Australian Olympic team has refused to take their quarters in Rio.
I heard that
they will not go in there. They say they did a stress test on the building or the buildings, and the water leaked everywhere. Plumbing issues. So the Aussies are saying no go on the living quarters.
They're saying no go, and up until this past week, people thought that the Russian team wouldn't go at all. They dealing with their own doping issues right now. A lot of athletes will be allowed to compete, but it could get nasty, and I mean it's already. It's a mess down there in Brazil, and I just with the World Cup in 2012, and now the Olympics in 2014, the World Cup, and now the Olympics in 2016. I just think it's a little too much for them to handle. I mean, it just seems like this whole thing was rushed. Yeah, I feel like the whole thing was rushed.
It's always rushed. It's gonna be rushed for FIFA's Qatar.
You're right.
It's
Lord, in 2022.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. But I mean, the Olympics they'll always generate some buzz. You mentioned doping, also in the news. Peyton Manning absolved of all.
Yeah, as if there was any doubt.
Any doubt?
Right,
There's
folks?
never gonna be. Come on. So
that,
he didn't take HGH. All right, he's safe. There's no asterisk. And I mean, quite frankly, if I may say so, if he was on HGH last year, that would not be the poster child for HGH.
That was the bargain basement HGH that he got. That's like the Walmart brand or the Sam's Club brand HGH.
Sam's Choice.
You need to stay away from that, kids. Stay away from.
It was definitely not an offensive.
The good value, the great value HGH. Just stay away from that.
But
man, it's again reasons to celebrate. King Griffey Jr. went into the Hall
finally.
yesterday.
The kid sure did.
Man, and you talk about a guy that didn't need the juice. He had almost 650 home runs, tons of awful injuries towards the end of his career when he was playing in Cincinnati. Really feel bad for the guy, but he is in the Hall where he belongs, and I was really happy to see that at least. King Griffey Jr., one of my childhood heroes.
Man, one of the sweetest strokes you'd ever seen.
And I almost wish he had played golf or something.
And you thought he did. You thought he did. He was kind of like that Vladimir Guerrero where like anywhere in the zone, doesn't matter if it was in the strike zone or if it was way down low, he would literally Tiger Woods that thing out of the park. And it was really cool. I don't know, us millennials, I'm not sure if a lot of folks are aware that he and his dad were on the same team when he entered the league, which is also really cool.
Unbelievable. He talked about his father, and his father actually choosing between, I believe, baseball and football. and baseball had the money immediately, and he chose baseball to provide for his family because his son, Ken Griffey, would be born 5 months after he was done in college. So pretty amazing story right
Worked
there.
out pretty well.
When you think about it.
Worked out pretty well, I'd say so.
I think so. Just amazing how they did it. But speaking of baseball, I want to go with what I feel like is one of the biggest stories of the week. Chris Sale, if you're not familiar with him, he's a Chicago White Sox ace pitcher. Guy's 14-3 on the year, sub-3 ERA. Guy's lights out. Did not play in the team's latest start.
On Saturday, right?
Yeah, and pretty controversial reason.
Bizarre, actually.
Yeah, very bizarre. Very bizarre. The guy actually ended up not wanting to play with the throwback jerseys that the teams were playing with that day. He had requested previously not to play with those jerseys, and the team was like, no, you got to go. And he was none too happy about that. Ends up just quitting, basically, and says he wouldn't play. The team ends up basically suspending him to the next start. So it's gonna be rough. What are your thoughts on that? I really think that a guy's uniform, especially in the pros, it really affects the way they play. I mean, the NBA players now with their short-sleeved jerseys, that would come on, don't mess with the guy's mojo.
I mean, this just reminds me, of course, of Seinfeld when George Costanza wants to change all the uniforms to cotton so they can breathe easier, and therefore play better, and then it just, of course, blows up in his face. But Chris Sale goes completely like nutso.
He cuts up the team's jerseys.
Yeah, in the locker room, cuts up. I'm not sure if it was with a knife that he had or some scissors or whatever. I don't think it matters. But cuts up his uniform. So he's like, and I'm out here and they originally came out with a statement that it was due non-violent team violation, something yada yada. But then it obviously came out. But that's he's going to be evaluated. That's just. I mean, I understand. Okay,
but it's probably not that big a deal, right?
You felt uncomfortable. Okay, you felt uncomfortable. I get it, but I guess I don't know, man. The other guys were playing in it as well, and then luckily for him, I mean, anyways, the game was postponed, was rained out on Saturday, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But he was sent home, and he could face further discipline. I mean, you go off. Like
Is it worth the paycheck?
I mean,
that's what I want to know. Is it worth you not getting paid? I mean, you're 14-3.
Well, I mean, what's his salary?
I mean,
what's the game?
I mean, my idea is just suck it up. Play horribly and prove your point. I cannot perform in this uniform.
I just don't get it. It just boggles my mind how you would not go out and play because of the way a uniform makes you feel. I just can't wrap my head around. There's got to be something more to it, or he's just absolutely crazy. And I just don't know. I don't know. But he was sent home, and he cut up his uniform like a psychopath in the locker room. Just lost it.
It was weird. But moving on to some cooler things in sports. Alabama and Auburn, the local teams, had some pretty good recruiting weekends.
Big.
People really getting it in before the season starts, of course. And boy, we're barely a week from fall camp. So the push is really going in. People trying to get commitments before guys' senior season starts. Alabama picked up the top JUCO cornerback in the nation, Javonte Dean. And I mean, that's just the rich getting richer. I mean, already Nick Saban with a wealth of riches there in Tuscaloosa. And of course, his calling card is the secondary. So no surprise here. Javonte Dean, he will do wonders, I'm sure. A guy coming in. People forget that Nick Saban really began his entire regime at Alabama getting those big JUCO players to come in, immediately play with experience, and that's how he kind of rebuilt the program.
Well, I mean, you can look at it. I mean, a lot of programs do that. It's a good way to fill a position quickly that has experience. I mean, Auburn has has traditionally, let me get this out right, has traditionally used that technique anyways. And if you look at their last 2 national championship runs, both of their quarterbacks were JUCO transfers. So,
I mean, becoming a bigger and bigger part of the game every day.
And each one went to it in their very first year.
Very true, very true. Auburn also, like I mentioned before, had a pretty good weekend themselves. Picked up 4-star athlete Trey Bishop, number 3 the number 3 athlete in the country, commits to the Tigers. Also picked up Stephen Davis Jr., a Auburn legacy. People obviously remember Stephen Davis Sr., the quarterback for Auburn, playing in the 90s. Racked up thousands of yards and easily a top 5 running back at Auburn. And now his son joins as a safety.
And he had a pretty good NFL career, too.
Agreed.
And a pretty long career considering the average career span of an NFL running back. He stood the test of time. I'm not sure exactly how many seasons, but I know he was slightly above the average, which I think is like 8 seasons for a running back.
And his son is a gigantic human being, 6'4", 200 pounds, and definitely a far cry from where Davis sat as a running back, a short guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he makes it up for I'm excited a lot of folks are excited to see what he can do. He may not see immediate play time, but it's good to see a legacy, go to your school.
Absolutely. And my thing is, it almost puts more pressure now on Gus Malzahn to perform. He's brought in several good recruiting classes now. The transition has to be made. And, to start, he really kind of hurt himself in the very beginning. I mean, he gave himself such a high standard in that first year, and then obviously could not keep up the next couple of years and repeat the success. So now this year really comes down to can he develop the talent that he's brought into Auburn and make things happen, and will it all click finally? Because if it doesn't click this year, I feel like unfortunately the fan base is just going to become just a little too impatient.
You can pretty much bet it will get impatient. I mean, this is Auburn we're talking about. We are in the state of Alabama. Yeah. We are in the SEC.
And Nick Saban never seems to have an off year to let you rest.
And when you have Nick Saban on the other side of the state, you got to bring it every year, and you got to beat him as well. But you're right. Can you make these guys and they're not all blue chippers. There's a lot of 4-star guys. But can you make these guys gel together? Can you bring that defense back from the ashes of what it was a couple years ago?
Boy, it was awful.
Steele, he's not working with some low-level guys. He's got a defense in there he can work with. The secondary, always a question, but still could be very strong. I believe in Kevin Steele. I think most Auburn fans do. But as long as you have Nick Saban on the other side of that state,
it's true.
Your expectations are going to be high every single year. And Auburn in general has high expectations.
Well, I have high expectations for the rest of this program. We've got a lot of cool things to go on. We've got some records in college football and sports in general that may never be beaten. We're going to have that coming up. Also going to talk about obviously, we got football, Major League Baseball in the works, and a special guest, Tim Alexander, UAB football representative, a guy who has really gone through some struggles in the last few years. Just 10 years ago, Tim was fully paralyzed from the neck down. He is now recovered to where it's from the waist down, and he just took his first stand. Like, he stood up for the first time in a couple of years. So really looking forward to that. So everybody stick around. More on the sidelines coming up in just a minute.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
This is Tyler Herron at Carl Cannon Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, and GMC. Did you see behind me, I got one of our Z71 Chevrolet Silverados. We have many like it. This is actually a Tuscany truck. It has a lift kit and the aftermarket wheels and tires. We are a Tuscany dealer. Come down and see us in Jasper, Alabama, and Carl Cannon Boulevard off exit 65, or you can give us a call at 205-384-5561.
Other dealers can't? Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Leo and Susie's famous Green Top Barbecue has been serving up the South's best barbecue for more than 50 years. Made famous for their hickory smoked barbecue sandwiches and big, tasty cheeseburgers, Green Top is sure to satisfy your hunger. Enjoy your meal while watching a game or call in for carryout. They also provide catering for any size party or occasion. For fast, friendly service and good old-fashioned barbecue, Green Top is simply the best.
Ready to Work Trucks in Summerton is just that. The place to go from anywhere in the country to find good used trucks for any need. Brian and Robert Harlan and their staff will assist you with financing and delivery. Brian is a 3-time National Truck Salesman of the Year and a 5-time Kenworth Walk-Around Champion with 30 years experience. Ready to Work Trucks, more than just a slogan, a business guarantee.
When you buy a truck from Ready to Work Trucks, everything works. All lights, all gauges, all switches, brakes are good. You can go anywhere in the country or on the internet and you can buy you a used truck and it's ready for you to go home and work on it. Or you can come to Ready to Work Trucks where everything on our trucks work and the horn blows, the brakes work, the tires are good, the kingpins are good. Hey, come visit us on Old 78 Highway in Summerton, Alabama, small town, big business. Come see us. We'll see that Ready to Work Trucks is more than our slogan, it's our business guarantee.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to On the Sidelines with Hagan and Hunter. I'm Seth Hagan. We're missing Hunter Price this week, but have no fear. Help is here. My good friend Daniel Vest joins me here at the desk. We just got done talking about some Auburn, Alabama recruiting, some bigger stories with the Olympics coming up. Really excited to get all that going. The Olympics. There's always.
What are you?
I mean, I'm always juiced for the Olympics.
Are you?
I always like to watch it because.
Yeah, Summer Olympics more than winter.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have a few favorite sports and whatnot, but this one I think will be especially poignant. If things go to plan, at least buildings don't collapse. You'll see the end of the career of Usain Bolt, who has been probably one of the best speed runners of all time. Michael Phelps, easily the best swimmer of our time. Well, this will be his swan song as well, so I'm really excited to see what goes on at the Olympics. But before we went to the break, I teased a couple of things. I wanted to talk about the Big 12. Currently, right now, they look like the Big 10 because they only have 10 teams in them. The Big 10 also has about 13 teams in them, so none of it's really the same. But this past week, Big 12 Media Days went down, and basically conference realignment was a big topic of conversation.
Yep.
Now, I don't know about you, but the coaches in the Big 12, they favored Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, perhaps Memphis, Colorado State. So
Central Florida.
Yeah, and those,
UConn.
and it just seems like these conferences are always expanding their reach. You know, you always thought about them originally as, you know, regional conferences, but now they're basically going all over the continent. What do you think out of those 5 or 6? Where do you stand on Big 12?
Well, I'll tell you why region doesn't really matter anymore.
Okay.
Seth Hagan.
All right.
And that's that little thing called, where am I? Close up. Money. Money.
Yeah,
Money
you're right.
is making these conferences reach out to West Virginia. But out of all of those things that you mentioned, out of all of those teams that you mentioned, Houston is an obvious choice. I mean, my goodness, how many teams in Texas are going to half of the Big 12 is going to be teams from Texas.
Right.
Texas, anyway, you know, I mean, if you added Houston, you have Baylor, you have Texas Tech, you have Texas. Give me some more. Any more? No, there are no more, are there? Not in the Big 12.
No,
so,
you said TCU, so I think I
did,
think you
right?
covered it.
So anyways, there's going to be a lot. Moral of that story. So,
Stay tuned to that.
But Cincinnati is a real option here. Cincinnati makes sense. They have a good program. If they pick them up in basketball, very, very good basketball program,
Yeah.
traditional. And also, don't forget about somebody like a Memphis. Memphis makes perfect sense for this realignment.
Already right there,
Already right
next
there.
to the conference, really.
Correct. Now, I mean, and is anybody competing with them for a market share there? I mean, they're close to Texas, but really you're just right there. You're north Mississippi, north Louisiana, and then you've got Arkansas and Tennessee right there. And you got a little bit piece of Kentucky, but that makes sense. But I think you can only add 2 to the Big 12, and that's where I think
you have to get back to 12 at least.
Right, and I think
That's
that's
right.
where, unfortunately, that's going to leave Memphis out because they want Houston and they want obviously Cincinnati is what they talked about. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Memphis get in there.
Yeah, I always thought that Memphis and Houston were the no-brainers, especially considering how well they played on the football field last year. Memphis upsetting Ole Miss, Houston going on their big run, beating the likes of Louisville, and then just running through their entire conference except for Memphis.
And might I add, covered the spread a pretty good bit, if my memory serves me correctly.
Oh yes, Memphis was very,
but
very
Texas,
nice.
I'm looking at you, Texas. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, they speaking of teams that must improve immediately.
Oh yeah.
Charlie Strong and the Texas Longhorns, they need that to speed up. Mucho.
You want to talk about high expectations?
Oh, man.
I mean, you think Alabama?
He gave it to himself.
Alabama itself has high expectations. Texas also has those expectations. It's not, hey guys, let's go win 10 games and let's get out of here and hurrah and hip hip hooray. It's we play for a national championship every single year, and they used to do that.
Yep.
And I think it's going to take some time for Mac Brown, but I think he will. His approach is a little. It's slowly.
Yeah, you know that
You've
Charlie
gotta
Strong
get-
is not gonna. He's not so much focused on the offense, and that seemed to be
That
their
seems the problem.
last year.
Right.
Defense, they're gonna be ready, but and they right now they actually have the preseason Big 12 defensive player of the year. One of the defensive ends is.
They better
lights
get
out.
better on offense real quick.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they better find them a good quarterback. Find them another Vince Young, and get to work because that program's got to start winning. And now, I mean, in Notre Dame, they were in a similar situation back before they hired their last coach. The coach they have now, which is obviously now escaping my brain when I need it most. But and now they have consistently won over the last few years 9 and 10 games. And for them, that's a step up from where they were. And I think they're on the comeback as well. But either way.
Yeah, I agree. Texas, right now, as it stands, you mentioned all those programs in Texas, probably the last place right next to Texas Tech. I mean, it has gotten bad, and it's gotten bad quickly. And I mean, the Big 12's only gonna get better, I feel. They've really brought back that good feeling to the Big 12, and they were competing.
Well, I'll tell you what's brought back that has kept what little hope it had of keeping its relevance. That is of the Big 12, and that is BYU or TCU and Baylor has kept the Big 12 afloat of late. Because, I mean, those guys, they've been knocking in.
And now they've got to step up because I feel like Baylor's going to drop right back.
And then, of course, and another reason Big 12 needs to do this is they need to have the 12 teams in their league so that they can have a championship game. That's the big thing. And so they won't get cheated out of being able to play for one as they were a couple years ago.
Yeah, TCU easily, to me, should have been in the Big Four a couple of years ago.
Absolutely.
And
but they screwed themselves out of it.
Yeah,
they screwed themselves out of it. And then to top it off, this is old news, and we'll get off it in a minute because everybody knows. And then to top it off, they wouldn't name a champion. They were like, we're not going to name a champion this year. So thanks.
We're just going to find. We're just going to take our highest ranked guy and
here y'all decide.
Here you go. And they decided we'll invite neither.
And rightly so, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But now, who's going to step up now that Baylor has taken its fall from glory with Art Briles and that entire scandal, because they are losing recruits left and right. Speaking of recruiting, they're losing.
Auburn
them
picked up one of them.
Yes, Auburn did pick up one of them, a 4-star wide receiver, I want to say. And again, his name escapes me. But
Cameron Martin.
Preparation. Cameron Martin. And so everybody's jumping ship there. I mean, they've got some good players there right now. Who's going to step in to fill the void? The person that steps in, can he get the job done to keep that program afloat? I don't know.
Does Jim Grobe strike you as a guy that can?
Not really.
He just seems like a Band-Aid, doesn't he?
Not at first glance. It doesn't. It's like Arkansas hiring, what's his name?
It's a $1.25 million Band-Aid. But
I mean, you know, and if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. But you want to also, I think it's key for Baylor to get in another offensive mind like Briles. Don't bring in a defensive coach. They need to stay with the system that they had.
And the identity
yes, because that's the recruiting base that they have built. That is the identity that they have built, and I think they should stay with it. And with the amount of coaches, I mean, heck, Art Briles was a high school coach before he went to Baylor. So, I mean,
I'm sure there's a couple more up-and-coming high school coaches in Texas.
Come on. Don't go to Georgia because what's his name? He's not available right now. You know the guy that was at Hoover, Rush Probst.
Yeah, Rush Probst.
He's suspended for the year. I can't remember what he did. I'll look it up and have it for you.
He headbutted somebody
after the break. Yeah, he headbutted somebody. Well, then if that gets you suspended, I'd like somebody to go back and let's see, 1997 at Clay Chalkville and go Google Tony Pugh for me and then get back to me, because the old school coaches, I'm going to tell you.
They didn't mess around, man.
Headbutting, that was not out of the norm. I will tell you that. I know personally have seen, because I was in the middle school at the time, but I have personally seen yanking of helmets. And then if old Coach Pugh didn't like the way practice was done after school, you know, and it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock, you're practicing again. You're doing the whole thing over again.
Yeah.
And so, I mean. But anyways, Rush Probst suspended for the year, and his team went pretty far in the playoffs last year. He's doing really well with that school there. I'm not sure if he's still going to be on staff, but it looks like that he will be. But
if guys like Rush Probst and what's his name at Louisville now, Petrino, if Bobby Petrino, if those two guys prove anything, if you're a good coach, people will overlook anything.
It takes time. Yeah. If you can stay out of the limelight, if you can be quiet for a little while, time does you favors. It's, in some ways, time does you no favors because we forget things and we take things for granted because of that. But you know, that's all it took for Bobby Petrino to get back, and Louisville was desperate enough to get him back after Mack Brown left. I mean, why not go to Bobby Petrino? I mean, you have all the leverage in the world, and it was a smart move by both the university and Bobby Petrino. But
just seemed to work out.
Yeah.
You know how those things go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, we've got to take a short break. When we come back, like I said before, we're going to talk about some records in college football that may never be broken. And also, later on in the program, we're going to be talking with UAB's Tim Alexander. He'll be in the studio with us. So, everybody, stay tuned. More on the sidelines in a moment.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Here at Carl Cannon Chevrolet, we offer a wide variety of vehicles. Trucks is one of our main things that we have here. We offer them that can be dinghy-towed, flat-towed, and we also have vehicles that can tow between 3,500 pounds all the way to 17,500 pounds. So if you need a vehicle that can just take you to church on Sundays or pull the load on Mondays, we've got them all right here for you at Carl Cannon. Been here for 50 years. Come see us in Jasper.
Other dealers can't, Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Leo and Susie's famous Green Top Barbecue has been serving up the South's best barbecue for more than 50 years. Made famous for their hickory smoked barbecue sandwiches and big, tasty cheeseburgers, Green Top is sure to satisfy your hunger. Enjoy your meal while watching a game or call in for carryout. They also provide catering for any size party or occasion. For fast, friendly service and good old-fashioned barbecue, Green Top is simply the best.
From Mobile to Florence, from Auburn to Tuscaloosa, for all your commercial or private paving needs, is Alabama's premier surfacing company. 20 years experience has the equipment and personnel to handle any job anywhere in the state of Alabama. Call 205-648-3117.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to On the Sidelines with Hagan and Hunter. I'm Seth Hagan.
And I'm not Hunter.
Daniel Vest alongside me right here. We're bringing you the biggest stories in sports. We're just a few weeks away from college football. Can't wait for that. And because of that, I wanted to bring in a little football history, some interesting streaks, Daniel Vest, that that people, at least the good people at ESPN, think will never be broken. You know, when you think about records that'll never be broken, you think about Joe DiMaggio's 56-game streak. You used to think about the Bulls' 72-win record in the NBA before the Golden State Warriors put an end to that. But there's some stuff in college football that people don't really know about that, I mean, it would take something incredible with the way that offense and defense has changed over the years and how teams employ the pass and the run. It's really incredible. So let's start out.
I'm excited to hear what records are going to be broken this year.
Well, it probably won't be this one. The first one, Tennessee's shutout streak. The game has changed dramatically in just the last few years, and Tennessee did not give up a single point in 17 straight games. That includes the entire 1937 season.
I was about to say, can I guess the time?
Right, the times have changed. I remember, I mean, Bear Bryant certainly had a lot of those. I remember Auburn had a year where they shut out everybody. I believe in 97 or 57, they only allowed one touchdown. So
it's like man, back in the day,
it's night and day.
Back in the day, you didn't score a whole lot of points. Same thing with football. You know, there were a lot of low-scoring games. I'm with you. I don't think that one will be broken. 17 games. I mean, you're thinking about, okay, if you go to the national championship, including your conference championship, you're looking at 12 games plus one more for the conference. So that's 13 plus 2 because you're in a playoff now. So that's 15 games. Exactly. So then you would have to pitch 2 shutouts for your first 2 games of the next season. And of course, that's assuming that the first shutout was the first game of that year, But so it could be spread out. But no, long story short, no, I don't think so.
No, I think that one may.
Who's the next closest? Do you know?
I have no idea what the next closest for 17 is. Like I said, I think back in the day, a lot of teams
like that,
didn't let people score.
Yeah, I mean, it was
run against run. You run 3 yards and. Poof, the play's over.
It's like the 4 quarters, Yeah. The 4 corners in basketball. You just throw, except back then you didn't really throw the ball. You didn't
throw the ball at all, really.
Just run the ball, run the clock out, man.
It's crazy. All right, now this is another one that I think will stand for the ages. Oklahoma's 47-game win streak in the 50s.
47.
47 games. 40. I mean, that's an incredible streak.
I mean, Bama went back-to-back, but they did lose to Ole Miss both times.
Yeah. I think
one of those times.
I think, especially when you talk about the old days and whatnot, just those when
it's a lot easier to do
when competition wasn't as fierce as it is now.
Sure, scholarships-wise, I mean, back in the day, you could just sign however many number of folks.
Exactly, gray shirt, half of them, and keep it all. But Now things are changing. The Sooners perfected their split T offensive formation and also invented the no huddle during this era.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
no kidding.
In the
All right.
50s. So
Thank you.
47 game win streak. Who stopped it? Oh boy, let's
stopped
take a look.
it? I don't know. Can I guess?
Notre Dame, who
Alabama
was
or Notre
an
Dame?
18-point underdog.
Okay, Notre Dame.
They lost. They beat them 7-0.
Fighting Irish.
That is a tough way to lose that. They lost as an 18. They lost.
Don wants you to make sure.
Yeah, they lost to Notre Dame as an 18-point underdog at the end of the streak in November 16th, 1957.
And you would have lost on that card.
Yes, I would have.
We both would have picked Notre Dame.
Yes,
or
yeah.
Oklahoma.
But that's after like a 46-game win streak, so I mean, I'll ride that train anytime. You know what I mean? Barry Sanders, rushing record. Melvin Gordon came very close
Oklahoma State,
to this just a couple of years ago, but people
he did,
forget.
Very close.
Yeah, but Barry Sanders played 2 fewer games in that year, so
boss.
It's an unbelievable record.
Dang you, Detroit.
Yeah.
Dang you, Detroit ownership. You had to take away one of the best running backs of our time.
Possibly the best ever.
Like he's like a LaDainian Tomlinson and Emmitt Smith wrapped into one, and Sweetness. Don't forget about Sweetness.
It's tragic. It's tragic what happened, man.
So we have what little bits and pieces of footage we have to cherish.
Yeah, we do. And people also forget 239 yards a game rushing. I mean, to put that in perspective, folks. Barry, during that same season, almost 240 yards per game, beating out USC's Marcus Allen, a future Heisman winner. I mean, just an incredible career for Barry Sanders.
Absolutely.
I mean, the guy was lights out. And to put that 240 yards per game in perspective.
Put it in perspective.
Last year, Leonard Fournette didn't even average $170.
But he's still a beast, though.
He's still a beast.
He's going up against
Doesn't not
SEC
take away his
defenses,
beast
man.
card. However,
He's going up against
when you
SEC
think
defenses.
about how big of a beast that Fournette is, and then realize that Barry Sanders was good for another 70 yards per game.
I want to know how Barry did
Had
against.
4 games with 300 yards alone.
I want to know how Barry did. We have, Rudy Johnson was pretty good too. But I'm just kidding. I want to know how he did against Oklahoma and Texas during those years. What kind of games he had against those guys. Because, I mean,
absolutely.
You can bust out a 200 or 300 yard game. That makes up for a 67-yard performance.
Right.
Down at the old river roll, down there in Texas or Oklahoma.
Oh, boy. All right, check out number 4.
Number 4.
Florida State's top 5 consecutive finishes.
All
Just
right.
take a guess.
What is it again?
Florida State's top 5 AP poll finishes and several consecutive seasons. How many do you think they
How many
were able
consecutive
to post?
seasons were they able to finish in the top 5 AP?
Yeah, we're talking about from 1987 on. How long did they keep it going?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Probably 10 years, 10, 13.
You're close.
Okay.
Boom, 13.
13.
13 seasons in a row. We're able to finish in that top 5. Of course, that was during the 90s where Florida State I think they won 9 consecutive ACC titles at one point. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
What do we win? See, if we were at the restaurant, I would get some fried pickles from winning that. But
man, I want some fried pickles.
I don't think Don's got some fried pickles.
I need some fried pickles.
Yeah, we need to go to B-Dub-Dub. Hey, by the way, I used that card that you got
did?
me for my son. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But anyways, that is a 13.
How long? I mean,
that's a
I don't
long
know.
time.
If
who
Nick
would be
Saban
second?
could hold on for like another 6 years.
And you know what? I bet who would be second and third would be Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban. But Nick Saban,
I would agree with that.
close. But I would say like Spurrier would be really close in there when his years at Florida.
And even Bob Stoops for a long time, he was right in there.
But 13,
maybe not top 5, but top 10s for sure.
I mean, Bobby Bowden. Hey, you just remember Bobby Bowden, Alabama bread, bone and bread.
Yes.
Okay, so.
And I don't know how we missed out on that.
Well, things happen. That's a whole nother show.
It really is.
We don't have enough time.
Not for that.
But we had it. I say we, but I think there was a chance he could have coached at one of the major schools in Alabama. But anyways, he decided to take it down to Tallahassee and build himself a dynasty and make him a lot of money. And then his children also benefited from that. But where is Tommy Bowden? That's what I want to know. Is he working for some hedge fund somewhere? I mean, you just totally went off the map. Even Terry came back. I mean, come on. You go to North Alabama, and now you're with the Akron zipping around, zippy-doo-dying, doing pretty good for himself. But where's Tommy? No, Tommy is like, helping his dad drive around town. I don't know what he's doing.
It's so hard when your dad sets such a high standard.
Sure.
What are you supposed to do? I mean, it's tough measuring up
to
Mr. Bowden.
It is.
And check this out.
Right.
I don't think this will ever be broken either.
Number 3.
Yeah. All right, 9 picks thrown by the same quarterback in one game.
Wow.
John Reeves, Florida quarterback in 1969 threw 9 picks to Auburn University.
Okay.
9 picks. Now, after Reeves left, who should show up but Mr. Spurrier?
Of course.
Right after that. So it seems like, that's a little justice. That's the universe kind of giving you something back. Like, we know that those 9 picks were pretty difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and then
record-breaking.
And then Florida gave it back to Auburn after Spurrier took it.
Yep.
Unless Auburn, wins, like 36-33 in the swamp with the catch by Frank Sanders.
Yeah.
But other than that, I remember an SEC championship loss to Florida in 2001. But yeah,
that was painful.
It was painful.
That was painful.
It was. What's our next one?
All right.
Number 2.
Derek Thomas's sack parade.
Ooh.
The man had 27 sacks and 39 tackles for loss in one season. Lord have mercy.
And Dominican Sue couldn't even dream of
No,
doing
no. I mean, nobody could now. I mean, good night. 39 tackles for loss. Of course, went on to start him in the NFL with the Kansas Chiefs.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Nearly 30 years later, Thomas's 88 season is still considered the gold standard. And I mean, how could it not be?
That guy
I don't
was
know
that
if anybody will ever touch that.
That guy was that generation's Ray Lewis. And gone too soon, might I add.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible. God, what a player! You think about great defensive players in the NFL and really in college as well, as you speak of that record. And man, all those greats and Derek Johnson, he's right up in there.
Yeah, Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas, I mean.
For what it's worth, Derek.
Hey, Derek Johnson, how you doing?
For what it's worth, Myles Garrett, Texas A&M's very prolific defensive end, has been averaging double-digit sacks since his freshman year at A&M. His goal is 20 for this year. Do you think he can get there? He got 14 last year, so is 20 available?
Is 20 available? Yes, I think 20. 20 is attainable.
He's going to have to go hard against those cupcakes,
20 is attainable.
He might have to get like 5 against one team.
If I'm not mistaken, he missed some time last year. 20 is attainable, but man, you got to work your butt off, and you got to play every single game, and you need to get a couple of good ones in those cupcake games because, obviously they're going to take you out after the first or after the second or third quarter, first drive of the third quarter or whatever, they might take you out. So. I don't know. It's close. But out of all the ones that we've named, that one would be the closest.
I would agree. All right, check this out. We've got the SEC's national championship streak.
Okay.
That got ended when Florida State beat Auburn a couple of years ago.
2013.
So that ended the streak at 8. Do you think that ever gets broken? Because I'm feeling iffy on that too. Like it would take a complete flip from what we know as college football today. It would take a complete switch. Like the Pac-12 would have to get ridiculously popular.
So 8 consecutive appearances, 7 consecutive wins. 2 of those, or 4 of those, two teams from a state won, which would be Auburn and Alabama, which is unprecedented during that streak.
Yep.
No, not with the college football playoff system now.
Yeah, very true.
Because
it's so much harder now, even now, to win a title.
Exactly, and unless there were two dynamo with no doubt about it, like in the SEC championship, they're both undefeated and they go to 5 overtimes, and one of them fails to get in the 2-point conversion and the other one gets it, and then you have that quandary of, are you going to do that? But anyways, no, I don't think that will be broken, and I don't think that the appearances or the consecutive wins. I mean, there's too much competition out there. Have you seen Clemson? Have you watched Deshaun Johnson or Watson? I mean, why am I keep wanting to say Johnson? Yeah. I don't know.
They're actually going for this next record. Oklahoma, like I said, they were dominant for a long time, but in the 70s, they averaged 472 yards a game.
Oklahoma was.
Clemson has set that as that's their goal for this year, is to break that record. 472 yards per game.
I mean, that sounds like TCU or Baylor numbers right there.
Yeah, right. It's surprising that it hasn't been broken to this point.
That's tough. That's tough.
But I think if any of these have a chance to be broken, I think it's that one.
Okay, you think that
one?
With
offense taking off like it is now, for sure.
All right. I mean, I would like to know.
Not in the SEC.
I would like to know who was number 2. That's what I would like to know.
Number 2?
But yeah, 400, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. To average that is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to look at it, but I think they averaged, or BYU, Baylor and TCU, I think they averaged near 400, but not at 400 yards a game averaging. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a lot of yards.
It was a lot.
That's a lot. You can't have one bad game.
Really Auburn would have taken one of those games last year. Let me tell you what. Chuck.
Didn't they? I think they did in the Arkansas game. Still lost that one.
Yeah. Eesh. All right, so Chuck Nelson hit 30 for 30 in parts of the 1981 and 1982 seasons, converted 30 straight field goal attempts. Now that I think will stay
in
up
one
there
season.
Forever. In parts of the 81 and 82 seasons. So it
just
wasn't a collective season, but
okay.
just 30 consecutive makes.
Consecutive makes, okay. Do I think that can be broken? When was that? Come on, did Sebastian Janikowski not break that?
Apparently
oh my gosh. He's like
Apparently
one of the most solid college kickers of all time.
He didn't make 30 straight.
That's a lot. I would like to see that broken. I would like to think that it can be broken, but that's a lot.
That'd be a pretty bad red zone team, though, don't you think?
It would be, but it'd be money for 3 points.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be nice to have.
Yeah. Auburn's got a pretty good kicker this year. ESPN's looking at Oregon's Aiden Schneider, who made 22 of 24 field goals last season, and he's 33 of 36 for his career. So there we go. All right, everybody, we're going to take one last break.
Real quick, before we go on the records thing, Joe DiMaggio with his record of 56. He hit 4 and some change that year. The last batter to hit over 400 400 in a season.
And there you have it. All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. More on the sidelines next.
Head to Carl Cannon. Their dream team makes it real easy to do business.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Carl Cannon Buick Cadillac GMC Chevrolet. My name is Joshua Salter, and would love to take this opportunity to show you the new 2016 Cadillac SRX. We've got some great promotions going on right now. Would love to help you get into a new car today. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 384-5561 or on my cell at 205-300-8364. Stop out and see us.
Other dealers can't, Cannon can.
Carl Cannon, Chevy Buick GMC Cadillac in Jasper.
Leo and Susie's famous Green Top Barbecue has been serving up the South's best barbecue for more than 50 years. Made famous for their hickory smoked barbecue sandwiches and big, tasty cheeseburgers, Green Top is sure to satisfy your hunger. Enjoy your meal while watching a game or call in for carryout. They also provide catering for any size party or occasion. For fast, friendly service and good old-fashioned barbecue, Green Top is simply the best.
Ready to Work Trucks in Summerton is just that. The place to go from anywhere in the country to find good used trucks for any need. Brian and Robert Harlan and their staff will assist you with financing and delivery. Brian is a 3-time National Truck Salesman of the Year and a 5-time Kenworth Walk-Around Champion with 30 years experience. Ready to Work Trucks, more than just a slogan, a business guarantee.
When you buy a truck from Ready to Work Trucks, everything works. All lights, all gauges, all switches, brakes are good. You can go anywhere in the country or on the internet and you can buy you a used truck and it's ready for you to go home and work on it. Or you can come to Ready to Work Trucks where everything on our trucks work and the horn blows, the brakes work, the tires are good, the kingpins are good. Hey, come visit us on Old 78 Highway in Summerton, Alabama, small town, big business. Come see us. We'll see that Ready to Work Trucks is more than our slogan, it's our business guarantee.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the last quarter of On the Sidelines. I'm Seth Hagan, your host, and with me this week is my good friend Daniel Vest. He joins me courtesy of our friend Hunter Price being a little under the weather.
He's a little under the weather, and I also come courtesy of our sister station of ACN, Alabama Cable Network, sister station. I would say it's not really a sister station because it is. Okay, it's a sister station.
Boom.
WAXC Television in Alexander City, part of Lake Broadcasting. John F. Kennedy, yes, I said John F. Kennedy is the owner down there. And we do programming here on ACN, including the AHSAA Scoreboard Show, Radio Network Scoreboard Show, which will be on this August 20th, I believe is the
less than 4 weeks to high school football.
Oh my
everybody.
goodness! My brain. I'm the director of that show. My brain is about to fry.
Oh, I love it.
But
not your brain frying, just football.
Right.
Naturally.
So, brought to you by that as well. And thank you for Mr. Don bringing me in here graciously. I enjoy the new set, man. It's really cool to
Yeah,
to
man,
be
I
here.
like it, dude. And I mean, this is where we're gonna be from now on, folks. I am very happy to say that we'll be
Are you
here
really
in
happy to
the
say
ACN studios. Yeah,
Hey,
man.
it's real simple. I mean, you just take I-22, and then you hit the door exit.
Oh
and
man,
then,
I-22.
and then it's right there.
That was like a godsend.
Thank you, Corridor X.
Yes.
It's no longer Corridor X anymore.
Loving
It's
that.
now I-22. I used to drive to Jasper all the time, so I know that way. Thank goodness I don't have to take Highway 78 anymore. If you
Lord.
know, if you're from around this area, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, let's get on to some Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
why
man,
don't we?
because
big
we're
trade
now
just happened.
full headlong into the second half of the season, and I mean
The Braves are
it's
still the
time-
worst team in the MLB with 33 wins.
Unfortunately, they are
Come on.
They are pretty bad. Cincinnati Reds right behind them with 38
But
wins.
the Cubs
and
still
the Twins
have
with 37. I forgot about the Twins. They
the
are
Twins.
awful.
They are awful. They're terrible.
they're terrible.
Twin Cities. Get it together.
You will not take our number one pick.
But but does it work like that? But
I don't know.
Of course, the Cubs still has the best record in baseball. Although there are other teams that are right behind them that have the Cubs have 58 wins.
Yeah,
And
the Nationals and the Giants had caught them.
Nationals are at 57 wins. So I mean, but look, we're talking about MLB now. This segment.
Yes.
God, number flies by. But speaking of the Cubs,
Yeah.
they're in it to win it right by goodness now.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are rebuilding thanks to a huge mega deal that just went down for the Cubs. Theo Epstein, however you want to pronounce it.
Making
he
the
is
moves.
doing works over there at Chicago. We need him in Atlanta.
We'll take what we can
But
get.
it started with bringing in their skipper, Maddox. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Walter Maddox, I believe. Or
Not Walter. It's,
anyway,
some
bringing
Maddox
him in
guy.
there, and
Yeah.
now they've traded for Aroldis Chapman, who can maybe considered to be one of the best, the premier closer in the game right now.
Yeah,
And
like this guy was supposed to be Mariano Rivera's replacement,
Yeah,
and
Eric
now
Aaron.
the Yankees are basically having to jump ship because the season's just not going how they want it to go
Right, they're
now.
second to
I mean, the
last.
Yankees
They're
are
second to last place.
they're second to last place. They're 50 and 48. They're in danger of going sub 500 for the first time in 25 seasons.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I mean, for the first time in those 25 seasons, the New York Yankees are actually not reloading. They are rebuilding. And that is the truth. I mean, and that
should make you feel good, Braves fans. I mean, at
I
least
guess.
it's happening to those Yankees. I mean, I hate them.
I don't know how much more I can tell you this. I want to be interested in baseball again, but that's why. Maybe that's why I don't have a fantasy baseball team anymore. But hey, Freddie Freeman, you keep up the good work.
Yeah.
But either way, the Cubs
went down the other day.
He did.
Tehran went down. I mean, what else could happen?
But New York is obviously rebuilding. Because Chicago didn't just give up just anybody for Aroldis Chapman, because you're not going to just give up anybody, okay? Or they got the top 2 farm system guys in the Cubs farm system.
Okay. Which to this point has been
Torres,
stocked. I mean,
they've
been able to substitute people in easily.
They got a shortstop, the number 1. They got the Cubs' number 1 prospect or farm system player, and they got their 5th rated farm system player, and they got a couple of other guys. They got some really good prospects out of this deal, believe it or not, for the Yankees. But they're rebuilding right now. But the Cubs, watch out, man.
Yeah, they're in it to win it for sure.
If they didn't have a top 10 pitching unit before now, they do now with Aroldis Chapman, as long as he can stay out of trouble and stay away from the law. Because if you do recall, he was suspended for a portion of games at the beginning of the year due to domestic violence or domestic assault altercation. He fired a weapon in the air, I believe, in an altercation with his wife, and he had to serve a suspension for that. So as long as he can keep his nose clean
grounded, my man.
Watch out for the Cubs, man. I'm telling you, watch out for the Cubs. And I'm telling you right now, I'm predicting them right here. This may be my only time on this show, on the sidelines, and ACN, and Don Early. But the Chicago Cubs will win the World Series this year. Write it down. It's right there. If I had a Sharpie, I would write it on that. Right there.
I have to agree with you. I mean, it seems like things were going downhill a little bit, and almost immediately, management stepped in, got them another great prospect.
Yeah.
Controversy notwithstanding. But, in the middle of the season, you got to make some moves.
Man, Theo Epstein has done a terrific job over there, man.
I mean, he's the genius of the modern day.
Well, I mean, he's obviously the guy who built the dynasty, if you want to call it that.
The Red Sox, yeah.
For the Red Sox.
3 titles.
And it all started with that improbable 3-1 series comeback against the Yanks.
Yep.
And then that obviously opened up the floodgates for the World Series championships that would win after that. And then he leaves to try to do that same thing with the Cubs, and that's exactly what he's done. Tough luck last year in the playoffs as they go out in the NLCS, but he's got that team loaded, and he knows how to move players around. And right now they're playing to win right now, and Aroldis Chapman could be that piece because they have good hitting, but that pitching, now they can lock down those close games. Watch out for the Cubs.
Yeah, and watch out for the Boston Red Sox. They're really starting to move as
Yeah,
well.
but
Seems like Theo's teams are just, they're just
but
making things happen. And Big Papi,
hey,
he's got to be the AL MVP this year with those numbers.
He does.
He's got to, man. He's got to. I need that to happen for Big Papi.
But I don't think. I think the Orioles. I think they take the East.
Really? You think they'll hold on? They got a game and a half lead now.
I think they'll hold on. I mean, and I haven't looked at their schedule the rest of the way. How many more times they play teams like the Yankees or the Blue Jays? But it's getting tight. But the AL East is like really tight. It's a 3-team race.
Oh yeah,
in the
that's
East.
crazy.
But I think Baltimore comes out of there, and I think the East, or I think the American League wins another championship. I mean, who do you have in the West? I mean, not the East, but the NL wins this time because of the Cubs, and the AL's reign is over, I think. But
it's been a long streak there as well. I mean, they
but the
have
Cubs,
been dominating.
hopefully the Cubs don't choke. That's the only thing I hope.
Do you think Cleveland comes out of the American League this year?
I
think so.
That is the $1 million question. Cleveland, kind of streaky, but solid, and they could very well come out of the East.
Yeah.
Watch out for them.
I think Cleveland and Chicago are warming up at the exact right time and making some things happen. Well, everybody, we've reached the end of our show today.
Is it?
It is, man. That hour flies by. We're working on that.
Two shot.
All right, everybody.
Man. All right.
Well, hey, it has been fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Vest.
Thanks for having me.
For joining us.
I get to drive back to Alexander City. How do you like that?
We're loving that. Hunter Price, get well.
Yeah, please
Everybody
do.
will be back next week, same time, same place. We'll also be airing on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 as well.
Love you, Alakai. See you later, buddy.
All right, everybody. Take care, and don't forget, use the game. Don't let the game use you.